If you're not familiar with this series, I basically find the origins and real-life locations of popular or even unpopular liminal space images. There's something about liminal space photography that evokes so many different feelings within people. Those feelings mainly consist of nostalgia, comfort or discomfort, and liminality. It's truly up to you, the viewer, on what is liminal and what isn't. It really varies from person to person. With that being said, I've made 4 other videos in this series, so be sure to check those out if you haven't already. And if you're dying for another Finding Liminal Spaces video after this one, let's hit 25,000 likes. One last thing, I'm not responsible for any of you going to these places, I'm not doxing anything, I'm simply relaying information that was already available online. To begin with the first liminal space picture of the video, it's none other than the Backrooms. This infamous and very iconic image basically paved the way for backrooms and liminal space photography. Let's start from the beginning, on May 12th, 2019, when a post on 4chan's paranormal board would be made. The person who made the post would use this image, accompanied with the following text. Post disquieting images that just feel off. The thread quickly gained traction, but this response would change everything. The anonymous poster would say this: "If you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you." This random post on a 4chan thread would be the pinpoint, the origin if you will, and I'd even say the direct cause of liminal spaces becoming so popular. Soon after this short-form creepypasta about no-clipping into an infinite maze of moist mono-yellow hallways, the fascination with the backroom started to grow rather quickly. It wasn't until the backroom started to be used as a type of label or feeling. I remember sometime in 2019 going into a Dollar General with my friends and randomly getting a glimpse into a dark, unkempt part of the store. The lighting was odd, and the best way to put it at the time was that it was the backrooms. Little did we know at the time, there was a more accurate and better description for this out-of-world feeling, and it's liminal space. I'm kind of getting off track, but this image, accompanied with the creepypasta, led to the creation of the backrooms, which then popularized the concept of liminal spaces. For many years, up until 2024, people tried finding who took this image, where the image was taken at, and if it was even real. I personally had no hope that this picture would be found, as I thought this was a result of some sort of edited photo or render. The following information I'm about to relay to you is taken from Farrell McGuire's video on the search for the backrooms origin. So huge shout out to him, go watch his videos, he's got super good stuff, I'll link him in the description. The final search for the backrooms location that led to it being found all started in Virtual Carbon's Discord server when a user called Sirara found an archived 4chan thread from 2011. On the thread was none other than the infamous picture, one of the earliest uses of the image that was ever found online at that point. The file name on this particular usage of the backrooms was dsc00161.jpg. One of the searchers for the backrooms picture then looked up the file name on Twitter, which led them to this post from 2019. For what it's worth, I've probably found the source image here. EXIF says it's from 2002. Somehow, right under the nose of the entire liminal space community, this random Twitter user found the origins of the backrooms picture 5 years ago. When clicking on the link they provided, it's no longer available, but by putting this link of the website into the Wayback Machine, all the questions would be answered. Dating back to May of 2003, this website was used for a Hobbytown store in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and this page in particular was documenting its progress from turning an old room, which was once used for selling furniture at a furniture store, into an indoor RC car racetrack. This page also features an alternate angle of the room, which is honestly incredible to me. Unfortunately, as I've already said, the room and wall in the iconic backrooms are no longer around these days, as they've been turned into an RC car racetrack for the last 20 years. There's videos of the exact spot the picture was once taken, although there's not many similarities. If you want some more in-depth information about the search and the actual location's history, go check out that Farrell McGuire video. I don't just want to copy everything he said. Another very popular liminal space that had no signs of being discovered was also found out around the same time as the backrooms, funnily enough. This picture also happens to be one of, if not my favorite liminal spaces. Just thought you should know. This is one of my favorite Backrooms images. According to this Reddit post, a user called Bippy on the Virtual Carbon Discord server managed to find a Flickr page from April of 2007, and the contents on the page was the liminal space basement/living room. To those who thought this was a living room, you were wrong. As you could guess, this image was taken inside of an ordinary house, and you would probably never know that such a legendary liminal space would be existing in its basement. Apparently, this is also what it looks like after a renovation. Not only was the basement and the literal Backrooms picture found, but trust me, there's even more iconic liminal spaces that are now located. The next one I'll be talking about is best known as the Level Fun Room in the Backrooms lore. I'm sure you've seen it before. It's got the super scuffed SpongeBob kicking a soccer ball. It's pretty awesome stuff. My Discord server had been trying to find the origins of it for the longest time, but the Virtual Carbon server has got the win once again. The users Zaft, Regularly Blue, and Bippy had managed to track down a Flickr page that had different pictures of Level Fun, get in contact with the person who took the pictures, and received the following information. If I remember correctly, this was shot at a Burger King in the center of Berlin. Their bathrooms were in a separate section downstairs, and had this empty playroom next to them. This was back in 2011, I doubt it still looks like this. Using the information that was given, the users on Discord would eventually find the exact Burger King. I doubt that the children's playroom is still there, but the address to this Burger King is listed as Alexanderplatz 8, 10178, Berlin, Germany. Side note, I hope Burger King brings back the mac and Cheetos. I thought those were really good. For the last big find that was made by the users in the Virtual World Discord server was the discovery of the Big Bear Library. The user Zaft, once again, found the image to be at the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Ohio. By going through its Google images, you can see different angles of the room, which confirms that it was taken there, the picture of the Bear Library. I don't know if it's still there, but now we know where it was taken. And speaking of things being taken, how would you feel knowing that your personal information is being taken and sold online by data brokers? Getting your information spread around online can happen pretty quickly. I remember signing up for different college newsletters back when I had hopes of becoming someone with a real job, and all of a sudden I started getting emails and spam from random and unknown senders. Sometimes your private information like name, email, social security number, and address getting spread around is completely out of your control, like when a big company gets hacked and their entire database is breached and you're a part of it. If you're reasonably bothered by the harsh reality of your privacy being invaded and your personal information being sold without you knowing, then let me introduce you to today's sponsor, Incogni. Incogni legally removes your private details from websites and third-party services that shouldn't have your information to begin with. To sign up, I filled out some quick information. This literally took me under a minute, gave Incogni permission to work on my behalf, and then it got to work straight away by sending removal requests to different places online it identified using my data. I just started using Incogni, and by going to the dashboard, you can see that they've already removed my personal info from nearly 70 different websites. Unless you have a lot of time on your hands and know the right words to say, you don't have a lot of luck doing this sort of stuff on your own. Incogni is the best way to go when getting your online privacy back. Use the code JadenSalads at incogni.com/JadenSalads to get an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan. That's incogni.com/JadenSalads and use code JadenSalads or click the link in the description to take your personal data off of the market. The first liminal space of the video that I found myself is this one right here. It's an abandoned store with a Lego section that only brings back memories of going to Toys R Us as a young kid. I would do anything to go back. Like any other search, I'm sure you know what I'm about to say, I put this into the TinEye engine, the website that scours the internet for matching pictures. So I did that and clicked on the second oldest result that it could find. It would take me to a Reddit page under the Lego subreddit. My favorite place to go as a kid, now empty. RIP Toys R Us. Assuming that whoever took the picture also made this post, I looked through the response section to see if they ever mentioned where this Toys R Us was located. And luckily enough, they said it's the one in Portland, Maine. There was only ever one Toys R Us that existed in Portland, which would shut down in 2018. There would be the reopening of a new one though in 2022, but it's safe to say that this picture was without a doubt taken at this now defunct Toys R Us in 2018. I tried to do a little more digging to see if I could find some alternate angles of the Lego section, like from this YouTube video taken during Black Friday in 2009. That video didn't show the place I was looking for, so then I tried this video, which was taken right before the closing of this Portland Toys R Us.
You don't have to worry about not finding one item. And if you need assistance, you can always ask one of us, which then will walk you some other person because we don't know the answer.
This frame right here is the closest I ever got to finding the Lego section, but you can see the little entrance into it.
Everything's going so fast. I don't even know. Whoa, I think I'm losing balance. I'm not gonna make it. Oh.
This might be a bit of a joke entry, and I'm not even sure if this is entirely a liminal space, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it anyway. This one didn't require much investigative work. I honestly think it would be more impressive if this beautiful Taco Bell managed to stay in a secret location. In the town of Rapid City, South Dakota, there's actually a lot of fun stuff to do. You can take a quick 30-minute trip to Mount Rushmore, walk around downtown, and most importantly, you can go to 1024 Endeavor Boulevard to get yourself some liminal Taco Bell. I was curious to see what the surrounding area looked like, and you can now see it on screen. The person who took this incredible image was most likely on the 4th floor of this hotel, as you can tell by this streetlight. Similar to level fun of the Backrooms, this creepy party room has some pretty dark aura. It seems as if the lights are turned on, but the room remains dark, and I don't even want to know what happens if you choose to sit in this corner. This image comes from a Reddit post with the caption, "Bowling alley in my town." The photo is accompanied with 2 more pictures, both being pretty liminal. There were many Redditors in the comment section that tried asking for the location of the place, but the OP never responded. By simply right-clicking on the image and searching with the Google Lens, I saw the thumbnail for this website. I clicked on it, and it led me to sunnysidebowl.com, a site for a bowling alley in Danvers, Massachusetts. You can see on the page 2 different angles of the liminal space. If you want to try and get a glimpse of this party room for yourself, then book a party at the Sunnyside Bowladrome in Danvers, Massachusetts. I've seen this picture floating around for quite a while now, like in liminal space compilations or on my own time looking at liminal spaces. I know what I'm about to say can be applied to almost any liminal feeling image, but this one actually feels like something you'd see in a dream. We have no context for what we're looking at, aside from the spiraling, winding white fence on some flat green grass. When looking for the origins of this one, I put it into the TinEye search and searched for the oldest uses of it. Some of the links dated back to the early 2010s, but what caught my eye was this link to Adobe stock photos. This picture was only one of many in a series of licensed pictures that you can buy, and thankfully Adobe has the location listed in the title. White fence winding across Calumet Horse Farm, Lexington, Kentucky. I went to Google Maps just to look around, and it's obviously the place. If you want to drive by for yourself, then the address for the farm listed on Google is 3301 Versailles Road, Lexington, Kentucky 40510. This Reddit post has a very ominous picture of an interesting looking house in the middle of nowhere, and I want to know where it is. Thankfully, the easiest step was when the OP had said, "I recently did a little digging and learned the house is real, but the picture itself has been edited quite a bit. It's located in the Magdalen Islands." After looking up a house in Magdalen Islands on Google Images, I then came across this picture of the same house on a Flickr page from 2009. You can tell it's the same because everything literally matches up. The chimneys, the colors, the windows, it's the same house. I tried searching this Flickr picture with Google Lens and came across this right here. It says colorful house with a similar looking house in the thumbnail. I clicked on that and it took me to a painting of the house on pixels.com. Like I said, the title of the painting is Colorful House, and I'm not going to try and pronounce the rest of that. I then copied that and pasted the name into Google Maps, hoping that this house was actually called the Colorful House, like in the painting. I skimmed through some of the places on Google Maps and eventually found one that used a picture of the liminal space house. It's listed as the Mason Julie Snyder. Apparently it's some sort of apartment complex. After doing a little more digging though, it turned out that this was not an apartment, but rather the house for a French-Canadian celebrity called Julie Snyder. I have no idea who this woman is, but she might be a big deal, I don't know. I ended up finding this article from 2023 where it talks about Julie Snyder's house in the Magdalen Islands, and it does show pictures of what it looks like on the inside. I did locate the house on Google Maps, and this unfortunately was as close as I could get. I really wanted to find the location of this abandoned Sears. Why is this so menacing? I believe the most known version of this place is this picture, but I did find other shots of it, like from this Flickr page taken in 2009. I figured this would be a popular Urban X place, maybe with some lore, so I looked up abandoned Sears on YouTube. The fourth video I found had the Sears I was looking for in the thumbnail. I watched the video, and in the intro it says that it was located in the suburbs of Chicago, but not once did they ever show the outside of the building. This comment says that their video was taken next door to the Walmart in Lake Zurich, Illinois, so I decided to check it out to see if it's our match. I looked on Google Maps, and unfortunately, the thumbnail is clickbait. The Sears these people explored was far less interesting than the one I'm searching for. I then looked up abandoned Sears on Google Images, started scrolling through, and came across the same one. After clicking this, I was taken to a page on Getty Images, and was blessed to now get some answers. It says that this Sears hellscape once existed in New Orleans, Louisiana. I also found the original upload of the liminal space. It was shared to Flickr in 2011 by Chad Gillenwater. This specific picture also shared inspiration for some pretty popular Garry's Mod maps. I'm sure gaming YouTubers like Vanoss Gaming are pretty familiar with this place already. Vanoss, if you're watching, thank you for following me on Twitter. You're freaking awesome for that. Now, I wasn't satisfied just knowing that this Sears was in New Orleans. I wanted to know what it looked like when it was opened, and I wanted to know the exact address. This website from 2008 talks about how they were hired to take some photographs of the St. Bernard region of New Orleans. This area was one of the hardest hit places during Hurricane Katrina. I bring all of this up because somehow when finding the website I just talked about, I also stumbled onto this Flickr page that shares more of the Sears surroundings. The information given from here is that it was taken in 2008 and that it's an abandoned shopping center on Judge Perez. After looking a little bit on Google Maps, Judge Perez is a road in Moreau, Louisiana, and I'm pretty sure I found where the Sears was once located. There's unfortunately nothing left these days, as it has since been demolished. All that is left is an empty parking lot next to a tractor supply. I'm gonna be completely honest for this entry, I literally don't know how I found the location to this liminal space. Usually if I find the location somewhere, I'll write it down along with the process I took to find it, but all I have written for this one is the final conclusion. There is a good chance I found this off of Reddit like most of these, but it's been too long for me to remember. Some of these entries have been stored up for quite a bit. With that said, I'm sure you've seen these pictures. They've appeared in many popular compilations on YouTube, and they all come from a Flickr page by a guy called Alex Gianniscoli. I don't know how I found this, but by going to this spot on Google Maps, you can see that this is where the pictures were taken. You can see the tennis court, the gates are the exact same, it's blatantly the right place. The address that'll take you here is 850 Grand Street, Brooklyn, New York 11206. I don't think this liminal space is very popular, but I still find it to be an interesting photo and would like to know where it's from or where it's taken. There's something about wind turbines and liminal spaces, they just sort of go hand in hand. I've already talked about some other liminal spaces that have wind turbines, they just have a weird feeling, I don't know. This image came from a Wikipedia page on the offshore wind park Thornton Bank. After copying that and pasting it into Google, it says that this wind farm is located in Noordzee, Belgium. There is not too much to write home about for this one, just some wind turbines in the ocean, but the full image of the picture is somewhat unsettling for some reason. This photo has not only been associated with liminal photography, but I want to say it also dates back to the mid and early 2010s as some sort of aesthetic/vaporwave picture. As usual, I began the search by using Google Lens, and right away I had some answers. I decided to click on the Campbell Arcade suggestion, and I was met with some pictures of what seems to be an underground shopping center. When scrolling to the bottom of the page, I was met with the mysterious liminal hallway that had a rather abrupt ending. Where does this go? Assuming that this place is called the Campbell Arcade, I looked it up to learn a little more. It actually has its own Wikipedia page and has some history that I don't really care to talk about. The supposed address to this liminal space is 248 Flinders Street, Melbourne, Australia. It does say on the Google page that it's temporarily closed, and the last review is from over 2 years ago. I'm not sure what the state of this place is like today, but it seems like it's probably shut down. For the last entry that I found this video, it's of a very foggy playground, and it doesn't get much better or creepier than this. I started off by putting the picture into TinEye, and it led me to the Flickr page where it was first uploaded. I had no luck finding anything on this image, so I threw a bone and started looking up whatever I could on Google Images to try and get a lead. I finally looked up Purple Playgrounds Foggy, and saw this Reddit post pop up. I clicked it and arrived at a 4-year-old post with 74 upvotes and 1 comment. For some reason, the comment was only from 4 months ago, and this person somehow remembered growing up around this exact playground and was even kind enough to link it on Google Maps. I remember playing tag with my friend in this exact same place in San Francisco. No Perception 7667, you are a living legend. Sure enough, the link they left to Google Maps was correct. If you're still watching, then thank you. And big shout out to Incogni for sponsoring the video. Thank you to everybody who makes me fan art. You can submit some by joining the Discord server in the description. Thank you guys. And here's a final shout out to everybody on the Patreon. Basmic, Bella M, Damn Sandy, Evan W, Eyeball Dude, Josh S, Josh Wynn, Landon Rodriguez, Leon S, Lottie Dottie, Mommy Trash Sack, Miko, Mustlord, Patlov, Racetrack Dragon, RBC Denson, Cher, Shiny Brakeson, and Zyre.
I go to sleep at 9 o'clock, this bitch stays up all night, but I see through you. I took a nap right on my glasses.